Red vs. Blue Season 18, Episode 2 Recovery has officially released, so let me break it down for you. So Carolina has been in recovery by Shatter Squad, and she awakens to see them all. Quite frankly, things move at a breakneck speed as Carolina immediately accepts them as her backup and gets to training them. What feels so odd about this is a lot of the formalities seem to have been missing. Introductions aren't made. Sure, she goes through each one of their reports of who they are and such, but I'm talking about in the form of, who are you and why are you here? It's not explained who Shatter Squad is, who they work for, or why they were sent to help Carolina. They're just there and Carolina accepts it. Because of that, it feels like things are moving at an unnatural pace. Carolina wakes up, I don't know who attacked us. What can we do to help? Let's see what I'm working with. It's made even more curious because as an audience member, we don't even know who they are. Are they just soldiers under the UNSC? Are they an independent group like Project Freelancer? We don't know these things, so it's just like, who are you? What is your purpose and why are you special? They do use terms like AOD and Glass Operative. Don't know what these are or where they fit, so even some explaining would have been nice. Also, on a side note, why put a cast over Carolina's armor? Honestly, just why? It just looks dumb. Take off the armor, please. If there's one character you're allowed to permit to take the armor off of, it's Carolina. We know what she looks like. I want to see her again. Plus, it'd give us a great insight as to how she's looking and coming along. I get it, she's not the spry young buck she was back in Project Freelancer, but if you're indicating that she's getting older, how old are we talking? Is she in her 30s, 40s? Is she graying up? What are we talking here? I'd love to see how she matured. I get it, you'd probably have to create an entirely new character model for her and it would just take forever, but I think it would have been worth it and people would watch this season just to see her out of the armor. Just whenever she's in the training facility to take it off. It'd be just like Project Freelancer all over again. I'm just saying, it'd have been nice and this goofy shit wouldn't look goofy. Anyway, Carolina gets straight into training them and we get a profile of each character. Axel, sometimes spelled with an EL or an LE, he's the weapons specialist, as you can tell by his frequent hand-to-hand combat. Hey, who needs guns when you got two weapons of mass destruction permanently attached on each arm? And just like that, every death flag is on him. He's got a wife and kids, he's talking about wanting to retire and what he's gonna do afterwards. If the writing's anything to go on, he's probably going to die. Then we have West. He is the leader of the squad and the parental figure to all of these Tasmanian devils going crazy. Except for East. He is the literal parental figure for her because he's her father. East was apparently subject to experimentation when she was a child. She was dying and so West allowed her to be taken and saved. This resulted in practically getting super speed, but also comes at a cost when she overdoes it. And of course, we got Raymond, the tech nerd, and One, the overconfident up-and-comer. As we see, they're apparently a fairly new team. They've been together for some time, but not a long time, as their teamwork is almost non-existent. On an individual level, they're all very skilled, but they don't work together as a cohesive unit, more like individual pieces in a close proximity. And this is put in direct contrast to Viper Squad. FaZe is the one who can teleport, by the way. I was calling her Viper last episode because, quite frankly, she moved and struck like a snake, like a viper. So I thought the name was fitting, but apparently it's FaZe. The group is Viper. Anyway, they work as a unit, a team that all feels as one. They lead yet another completely overpowered assault on a compound. Apparently, they're rocking the Halo 1 Magnums because that shit's literally one-shotting everything. We don't see what they do other than fighting these pelagonal monsters. Seriously, stop creating your own monsters. This shit doesn't look good. And the episode ends with One calling Carolina grandma and challenging her to a fight, so Agent 1 needs to be put down. Seriously, she needs to get a nice slice of humble pie. Listen, Agent 1 suffers from this thing known as an inflated ego. Her ego is so big that it needs to be put in check because that's how egos work. In no scenario does One beat Carolina and she becomes humble. That's not how she's been presented or how she's acted so far. She's here because she wants to beat the people who beat Carolina, meaning she knows who Carolina is and what she's done, and she thinks that she's better. So if she beats Carolina, her ego is going to get more inflated like, yeah, I beat her, I'm better than you, told you so. So Carolina needs to put her in check. At some point, it's happening one way or another. I want it to be Carolina who does it, but at the same time, it very easily could be Viper Squad to do it because it would show that they are a team and more skilled and capable of beating her and Shatter Squad. One way or another, they're getting humbled. Just who does it? Perhaps both. Personally, I've taken a real shining to West. I didn't even know he was one of the main characters. I feel like in the run-up to the show they never brought him up. Perhaps that means that he dies and one takes command. I hope that's not the case because I like him. Weirdly enough, I took the most shining to him and East, and it turns out that they're father and daughter. So, personally, I might be really excited to see how things play out. Neither one of them is really lovey-dovey. He's very militaristic like Sarge, and East is very concerned with her training. So it's not like a simple dynamic the two have, but I feel like there's potential for some real growth and story here. The story already touched upon it, but Raymond mentioned how it doesn't seem like a coincidence that father and daughter wound up on the same team. So that perhaps means that West pulled some strings to be closer to the daughter that he had to give up a long time ago. So, I could see like a story where East learns to ease up on trying to be the best and valuing her father as being more important, That's like a direction the character can go. I'm not saying that's where it's going, but it's a possibility. East and One are both two sides of the same coin and very simple-minded characters. They see the goal and they just run at it. So East and West I personally find the most interesting. Also, quite frankly, the thing that shocked me the most this episode was the character of Tiny. I was befuddled when she spoke, and it was not the voice of Jeremy Dooley, considering the purple and orange colors along with the height joke Tiny. It's been quite some time since I've watched Achievement Hunter, but the Remy Tim colors and the height joke were quite a surprise for it not to be a reference. The dialogue at times is not great.
Using the recorded visor cam feeds instead. Smart kid.
People were mentioning it last episode, but I didn't really feel it, but yeah, it's not the most natural and can often come off as incredibly cliche, but I'll forgive it. They did say that their ultimate goal was to mainly create an entertaining season. That was what they were going for, and considering the amount of time that is occupied by fight scenes, it's doing a solid job at it. Both episodes so far have been like at least 70% fight scenes. So if you're going for entertaining like that, you will succeed. Hey, it was a little bit of an introduction to everyone, some backstory on East. I'm interested and excited to see where it goes. In the meantime, be sure to let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. Are you invested? Are you interested? What are your thoughts? Anything and everything, be sure to let me know in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video.